Hi everybody, I hope you guys are doing fantastic. So in this video, I'll be simply showing you guys what I have as my part of my setups that I'm having currently. So I'll be walking you through what I'm currently looking at. That means NASDAQ, GER30, and gold as well. So without further waste much of your time, let's jump into the market. So currently I'm having NASDAQ on my chart, as you can see. So without wasting much of your time, let's just see what we have right now. So we can see that when we look at NASDAQ right now, we can see that the market has been extremely bullish. We had a correction move here and another impulsive move at that particular area, right? So now, aside from that, we can use simple support and resistance. So this is on the daily time frame. So when we open on the daily time frame, we can see that what we're having is that it's a nice impulsive correction, and what we're looking forward to see, it's an impulsive before it's a correction before another impulsive move to the upside. So now this is on the daily time frame. So we know for the fact that the market is at resistance. What we're expecting is the sellers to jump in and push the market to a lower price. Aside from that, when I move lower to a lower time frame, we can see that what we're having is that we had the market nicely tapping into this area, rejecting and then pushing to the upside, and then came and broke above this point. So we have this area as our area of interest. We have this area as our area of interest, it being our current support. This was previously acting as resistance, but now acting as support. So what am I looking forward to see? We are looking forward to see the market trend to the downside, giving us that beautiful correction to the downside, right? And then giving us another impulsive move to the upside. So aside from that, we can see that now sellers are trying to jump into the market, bringing in that bearish momentum. Aside that we are overall bullish, we need to see the bearish correction, right? The other thing that we can see that we are now in a minor bearish correction is that we had the market breaking below this area here. So now at which particular point are we going to look for selling opportunities? So when I move to a lower time frame, such as the 2-hour time frame, we can see that we have a break of structure. We can see that we have a break of structure here. We have a break of structure here. So aside from having a break of structure, we can see that after the market breaking this structure here, this low, we can see that we're having a new minor low around this area. We're having what? A minor low around this area, right? So now, aside from that, what can we see? We can see that the market give us a break of structure to the upside, and now the market has actually changed, right? So we can either call this a change of character, or we can keep it as break of structure, as long as we know what we are doing, right? So we can see that the market broke structure there, and after breaking structure, we can see that it nicely came and tapped into this order block here. Sorry, fair value gap. We can see that the market came and tapped into this fair value gap here. So hence inducing in or bringing in that bullish movement to the upside. So where exactly are we going to be looking forward to enter the market from? So this order block was already tapped in by this candle, so this is no longer valid. And when we look at this, this is actually a very valid order block. This is a very valid order block. Reason being, we also have a fair value gap here, which was actually tapped by this movement here. So after the market tapping into this fair value gap, what we're having is that we can see that what we're having is liquidity here. We're having what? Liquidity here. So we're having money resting above this area here. And what obviously we're going to be looking for in terms of liquidity and order block So the liquidity actually makes this order block to be actually strong or a confirmed order block, because where we're having liquidity plus order block is actually a good confirmation, right? Same applies with the fair value gap of which we had there. So let me just name this as our 2H order block, right? So that's actually our 2-hour time frame order block. So from there, what am I looking forward to see? I'm looking forward to see the market collect liquidity, tap into the order block again, and move to the downside, right? This is what I'm actually looking forward to see on NASDAQ, and this is a clear view on on the 2-hour time frame. So this is what I'm looking for on NASDAQ. So from there, I'll be looking to have this as my entry. Stop loss, I might just put it there or at around that particular point, depending on your preference and your risk appetite, right? So that would be our target one. Overall, that would be our target one. And aside from this, I like confirming my entries or my setup with my Fibonacci, right? So what we can see is that we have this move breaking structure there. So I'm starting from a high to a low, and what I'm looking for is to actually sell from the 0.71, which we can see it's exactly in the order block, confirming why I'm going to be looking for selling opportunities around this area here. Then what else am I looking at? I'm also looking at GER30. I'm also looking at what? GER30. So if we look at GER30, right? If we look at GER30 right now, let me just delete everything and start again from the daily time frame. So when we look at GER30 on the daily time frame, we can see that the market has been pushing bullish, right? The market has been pushing bullish, and we can tell this by this break of structures here. We have a break of structure here that we had, and another break of structure here. All right, and we have our current high at this point, which we can see that if we bring this area to that area, well, this still remains our high, but if we get this point and that point, we can see that liquidity was swept around this point, causing the market to drop, right? Causing the market to drop. So overall, what we're having is that we have a high, previous high, current low, and current high. So this simply tells us that we are bullish. Let me remove this. Okay. Telling us that overall we are bullish. So aside from that, we can see that from the daily time frame, when I bring in my fib, the fib is actually telling me that we are looking for buys around this area here, which is actually below the 0.5, which is actually the 0.5. So we know that below 0.5 is actually the discount price, and above that price is actually a premium price. So price is expensive when we are in premium. Price is cheaper when we are it's in the discount price. So what we're looking for is buys in the discount and sells above 0.5, which is the premium. So I'm just going to turn this off, so I know for a fact that we are likely to push lower coming to this particular point. So without actually focusing too much on that right now, we have our current high, which is here, and our current low, which is here. So moving to the 4-hour time frame, when we move to the 4-hour time frame, we can see that are we having any what are we seeing on the 4-hour time? So when we jump to the 4-hour time, we can see that we're having good high, previous high, current low, and current high at that level there. So now moving into this, we can see that after an impulsive move to the upside, we need to have a correction before another impulsive. So what we're looking for in this phase, we're currently in a correction phase, so we'll be looking for minor or internal bearish structure, right? So when we move to this point, we can see that the market has been breaking structures, minor structure, where that break, and where that break, the market causing what? Causing that break of structure. Let me just highlight this as our break of structure. Then we have our current high and current low previously, right? Previously. So from here, we can see that when I extend my fib from this high to this low, we can see that the market exactly came and tapped, and then the market came and tapped and then did what? And dropped. So aside from that, what did we see? The market tapped and dropped, and then came and broke structure again here. So around this area here, the market failed to break structure. Hence, we see liquidity was swept, and then market did what? Push to the upside. So here we have a break of structure. So here we have break of structure, giving us at this point we have a break of structure. Market came and tapped, swept liquidity from here, and then pushed to the upside, giving us this being our high and this being our low. So from here, if I move to, before I move to the lower time frame, we still have to keep in mind that my fib, I'm going to use my fib, is telling me to look for buys around this area. So my buys will be around this area here. My buys will be around this area. But before we get to this point here, I want to make, or to take advantage of the sales here. So if I move to the 2-hour time frame, if I move to the 2-hour time frame, we can see that the market nicely swept this liquidity, right? Market nicely swept liquidity here, of which it came and nicely tapped into this order block. This was a nice tap, and we can see how nicely the market dropped. So liquidity plus, let me do this, this liquidity was taken out. Liquidity plus order block actually, cause it's actually a very strong confirmation of this order block, right? It's actually a very strong confirmation of this order block. So now what are we having right now? We're having this as our current high, sorry, current low, and this area as our current high. So from there, I'm going to bring in my fib. So my fib is actually showing that I should be looking for buys around this area, of which when we look closely, we can see that this is an area of fair value gap here. This is an area of what? Fair value gap. Aside from that, we can see that we're also having this point here, where we're having a very good order block. So we have point A and point B, of which this point A is actually a supply. There's still high opportunity that the market could touch this point and do it and drop, most especially that that it is above the 0.5, right? They are all in our premium zone. But how I get to find the premium and discount price is that whether the area of interest is from the 0.5 or below the 0.5, the high possibility of the market reacting from that area, right? So there's high opportunity of the market touching this point, and there's still possibility of the market touching this point, right? So all in all, we are looking for selling opportunities. So we have, I'm going to take this as my area of interest 1. I'm going to take this as my area of interest 1. We're likely to see the market drop. Same applies to this point. We're likely to see the market do what? Drop. So this is what I'm looking for on GER30. I'm actually looking for sales, bringing me to this area of interest to the downside. So this is what I have on GER30. So this is my setup on GER30. And when we move to gold, what I'm actually looking at when we move to gold is that gold, I'm looking for buys around the area of 4,400 I hope you guys enjoyed this video, this short market breakdown. And if you're new to my channel, thank you for joining us. Make sure you subscribe, hit that subscribe button, like this video, and watch this video to the end. Is what I had for you guys. Signing out.